So, what if I told you that you could perform a magic trick? Not with cards or a hat, but a real magic trick for your mind. One that could literally conjure up incredible results, seemingly out of thin air. Well, today we're going to pull back the curtain on a skill that is so powerful, it really is the closest thing to real magic you can get: the power of focus. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The comedian Jerry Seinfeld hit the nail on the head with this one. It's such a simple but profound piece of wisdom. This one idea, that our greatness is directly tied to our ability to focus, that's the core problem we're going to unpack right now. All right, so here's the playbill for our little magic show today. First up, we'll tackle what we're calling the greatness problem. Then we'll expose the mind's grandest illusion: misdirection. After that, we'll uncover the hidden gears of running on autopilot, reveal the imagination key, and finally, the moment you've been waiting for, I'm going to teach you your 4-step magic trick.
Okay, let's start with a feeling I think we all know way too well. You set a New Year's resolution, right? Or you buy that book you are absolutely determined to read. You're full of excitement, full of the best intentions, and then, well, life happens. So why? Why do those amazing intentions just seem to evaporate? Well, it turns out, if that's you, you are in very, very good company. A staggering 98% of all resolutions are totally abandoned by the time March even rolls around. But here's the most important part. This is not some personal failing. It's not because you're lazy. It's what happens when we try to solve the problem of focus using completely the wrong tools. Okay, so let's dive into the first act. To understand this, you've got to know that your conscious mind, just like in a magic show, is incredibly easy to fool. Life itself acts like a master magician, constantly using misdirection to pull your attention away from what actually matters. And this magician has 2 favorite tricks that it uses to fool us every single day. First, you've got the grand illusion of multitasking, convincing you that you can totally juggle 5 things at once, when in reality, you're just dropping all the balls. And then there's the smoke and mirrors of information overload, that constant fire hose of notifications, emails, and news that just overwhelms your brain until it kind of goes into screensaver mode. And the cost of all this misdirection, it's huge. We're talking $650 billion. That's how much productivity is lost every single year in the US alone, just because people are disengaged, their focus totally shattered by trying to do too many things at once. And just think about how this plays out in your own life. On average, we touch our phones more than 2,600 times a day. Every single one of those taps, every swipe, it's like a tiny paper cut to your concentration. And over a day, you're bleeding out your focus. Now this brilliantly shows that second tool, information overload. You might have heard of the famous monkey business illusion. People are asked to count how many times a basketball is passed. While they're laser focused on that, a person in a 7-foot gorilla suit walks right through the middle of the scene. And the crazy part? More than half the people never even see it. It shows we can be completely blind to the obvious when our focus is directed elsewhere. So, while your conscious mind is off chasing every distraction the magician throws at it, there's a much more powerful force working behind the curtain: your unconscious mind. And for most of us, almost all the time, it's just running on autopilot. I mean, just look at this. It's almost hard to wrap your head around, but research suggests that a whopping 95% of our daily thoughts are the exact same thoughts we had yesterday. We are literally creatures of habit, just running the same mental programs in a loop, day after day. Now, this autopilot gets created by 2 main forces. You've got programming, which is all the stuff that others install in us, ideas from our parents, teachers, society. And then there's conditioning. And that's what we do to ourselves, the habits we build, the reflexes we create, until they become completely automatic. And the psychologist Carl Jung just summed this up perfectly. He said that until we make these hidden, unconscious patterns conscious, they're going to run our lives, and we'll just shrug and call it fate or bad luck. So this brings us to a really critical point. I mean, if our conscious mind is constantly being hijacked, and our unconscious mind is just replaying old, outdated programs, how are we supposed to ever create real, meaningful change? Seriously, what hope is there? Well, it turns out there is hope. There is a key. It's a secret tool that the world's top performers use to break out of that loop. And it's not about having more willpower or being more disciplined. Nope. It's about tapping into one of the most powerful and honestly most overlooked parts of your mind. And that key is your imagination.
Now, hold on, we're not talking about just idle daydreaming here. We're talking about the active, conscious ability to create new images and feelings in your mind. Because imagination is the language that the unconscious mind speaks. It is the tool we can use to give our autopilot brand new instructions. And that, my friends, brings us to our grand finale. I'm not just going to tell you about this amazing key. I'm going to give you the exact instructions to use it. This is a simple, practical, 4-step process. It's like a magic spell that you can use to take back control and point your focus wherever you want it to go. Here it is, the whole trick. The 4 steps are write it, see it, say it, and do it. Now, I know it sounds almost too simple, but that's the beauty of it. When you do this with real intention, this exact sequence lets you consciously plant a new idea directly into your unconscious autopilot system. But here are the details that really make the magic work. When you write it, don't be vague. Be incredibly specific. When you see it, don't just have a fuzzy picture. See it in full color, with motion and feeling. When you say it, remember that the ancient magic word abracadabra literally means I create as I speak. Your words have power. And finally, and this is crucial, you have to do it. Take one small real-world action to make that new vision tangible. The author, Earl Nightingale, really captured the soul of this process by using repetition, doing those 4 steps over and over, and emotion, the vividness of your imagination. You can plant any seed you want in the fertile soil of your unconscious mind. And if you tend to it, it will eventually grow into your reality. So you see, the magic isn't some outside force. It was never in the magician's hands. It's about using the incredible power that you already have inside you. So the real question this leaves us with is a pretty simple one. Now that you know how the trick is done, what new reality will you choose to imagine into existence?